Everyone, this is Pierrick from P2DESIGN. I've just finished my first streaming. I would like to thank everybody, and it was really awesome. I had a lot of people running into this streaming, adding some comments, a nice encouraging word, so thank you all. I've decided to create this little highlight video so that I show you the main interesting point of this streaming. The full streaming is now available. Just follow this link or find it on my YouTube channel if you want to see the whole process. And if you just want to see the main steps, just follow this video. And I'll see you very soon for another streaming and other video tutorials. During the streaming, my goal was to create a run cycle for this lovely spider. So it was modeled by Emmanuel Ruth. You will find our ArtStation link in the video. The rigging is pretty simple, as you can see here, the deformation bones, and the model is quite low poly. I have a simple IK set for the legs, and the torso is made of 3 different parts: head, chest, and the abdomen or the tail or whatever you want, and I've created a slight swinging effect. I've also taken a part of the script from the Rigify add-on, just the part to set the UI and remove everything, because I don't know how to script, but I can understand a few of the lines, and by running this script it set me a little UI to display the bone I want. To be able to work with ease, the first thing I do whenever I start a character like this is to create a keying set. So what I do is I currently set a keyframe for each location, scale or rotation I will be using. If, for example, a bone is only supposed to be rotating, I will just record the rotation. And then I will set the keying set to available. And so Blender won't be recording any keyframe that has not been recorded before. And it allows you to keep a clean dope sheet and a clean graph editor. As this animation is a bit particular since it's a spider, it would have been hard for me to guess or to find first references to create a good blocking for a run cycle, because how would you offset the movement of the legs, or would you move the body depending on this? So instead of creating a blocking stage, then an intermediate pose stage or breakdowns, and then polishing, I've decided to create first the animation of one leg and then quite create the same animation for each leg on the side, moving in the same movement with the same rhythm, so that then I will be able to offset them on the fly just to check until I get a result that is pleasant to me. Once done, I can mirror and offset the movement on the other side, and I will consider the body as something that is following this animation. Instead of having the hips or so, or the torso or whatever leading the animation and pulling and pushing the legs, I will consider the legs to be the lead into this animation. So the first thing I have done is to set the base keyframe using 24 frames to make the cycle. So every 6 frames I set a pose with a constant interpolation just to see how it looks and create my main pose. And I will do the same for the 4 legs on one side. The important things here was to make sure that each leg will have the same distance, or will slide on the same distance when they hit the ground. So I've made sure that it was like 12 lines on the grid. So I've made sure that each segment, each leg movements on the ground of 12 lines and in the same amount of time, so that you have your linear interpolation of the movement when hitting the ground that is correct. Once I had my main pose done, I can go into the graph editor and start working on animation curves to have a more realistic movement and more physically correct, meaning that you have to look for acceleration, especially whenever your foot is going to touch the ground. Many people don't go editing their curve when they show animation, and this is really a problem. It's very important to have this sense of acceleration, meaning that once you've reached the highest point of your foot, it will accelerate until it touches the ground. So it's important to switch to vector once you touch the ground to avoid slowing down of the curve. So you can see here how the curve is done. And regarding the movement from back to front, you can add a little slowing, but not that much. So then I was just trying to get a nice curve, and once I was done with a first leg, I've also had to make sure that once the foot was on the ground, it had a linear interpolation. And once I was done with the first leg, I've made the same process for the 4 others, and then we can offset the movement by simply duplicating the loop and offsetting the curve on the x-axis. Once done, I can copy and make a mirror path on the other side and offset every leg by 12 frames, so half of the animation length. Animating the torso then was pretty straightforward. What I've tried to do is, by focusing on the 2 front legs, try to mimic somehow the movement of a human walking. Meaning that when you are pushing on your leg at the very beginning, when it hits the ground and moves slightly backward, your weight is leading you toward this leg and also down toward the ground. Then you push on your legs so that you get higher, and then get in the middle, let's say, in the center of your center of gravity is aligned with the middle point of your 3D space, and then you slightly move to the opposite leg. So I focus the movements of the main torso on the front legs, because if you have to think about the position depending on each leg on the spider, this is quite complicated, let's say. And the thing is to get a nice right and left, up and down rhythm, something that is a bit dancey, let's say. And once I have this root body bone animated and polished, etc., I've moved on to the chest, head and abdomen movement. So I've polished the root bone first, because as I've told you before, or maybe I haven't, I don't remember, I just wanted to make the chest and head movement as a follow-through animation. Meaning that the legs are leading the animation, and then the body is just like under the influence of the movement of the legs. So it was really like, yeah, some smooth movement, and I've just tried to keep it as nice as simple, a bit exaggerated, so that I have this nice wavy movement. In this way, the head will follow the chest, and the chest will follow the root bone, and so does the abdomen, following the root bone of the global torso, and The abdomen was also articulated with a secondary line of bones that allow me to curve the body so that I can create an animation of the abdomen that was balancing from left to right following this walking pattern. And here was the result once exported and viewed as FBX. That's it for this first streaming summary, let's say, more than a highlight. If you want to have more information and more tips, I truly encourage you to watch the streaming. As it was quite a simple animation, it's pretty easy to follow. Just forgive me about the 12 first minute where we were trying to set up a good sound quality, and as it was my very first streaming, that wasn't as easy as expected. As usual, if you like my content, just send me some love and subscribe, and also go check out some freebies and full-length courses on my Gumroad page. And I'll see you very soon for another animation streaming, and I will also plan a game rigging streaming. See you, thanks.